Hello, Ravens fans, and welcome to another season preview. I'm Aaron Schneider, the Sports Information Director at Anderson University, and joining us for our softball season preview is head coach Tony Holloway. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself, Aaron?
Good. Well, let's to kick things off. What are your goals and expectations for this season?
Well, I think that what we want to do is just get out to a decent start. We're going to be young. We've talked about that. But we got a chance to go down here in just a few days and play Asbury and Centre, and so that'll kind of give me something to build on for the Elizabethtown trip. So we just want to get off to a decent start and mentally be on the field.
All right. What are your team strengths for this year?
Well, as you know, last year, we played very young. And so we got a lot of good experience for our young people. And again, I've made it clear, we're only carrying two seniors, a fifth-year senior and one other senior. So last year, by these young ladies getting a lot of experience, hopefully that'll carry over and they'll play more like upperclassmen for us.
All right. Now start getting into some of the returners. Who are some of the returners that you expect to make an impact for this year?
Well, you got Maddie Shinrod, who stole 29 bases out of 32 last year, was our leadoff hitter, center fielder. We're expecting the same thing out of her, hopefully a little bit more. Ashley Wheeler coming back, fifth-year player. Got to be big in the middle for us, for our bats. Probably one of the best defensive first basemen I ever coached. We got to lean on her heavily for bats. And then the rest of our middle, it might be young players that haven't had a start for us yet. I look for Ashley being that 3 or 4 spot, and maybe 2 freshmen in the other 2 spots up the middle there for our RBI people.
All right, and then a handful of strong newcomers coming in, a couple of transfers. Tell us about your newcomers that you expect to make an impact.
Yeah, I'm looking at Pacey Lewis to bring a big bat for us. She had a big fall and she's had a big spring in our inter squad games right now, hitting the ball well. Again, it's going to be kind of a wait and see where we're at. Blakely Cornstubble shows a lot of potential. We got a transfer in Gracie Grimes that came actually. She was out in Hawaii, Indiana girl that went out there, got lonely and decided to come home. Could be in the lineup at third base. We're going to probably have a catcher that will be a sophomore, but redshirt all last year in Ariana Bynum. So we're looking at, we got a lot of veterans that didn't have a lot of playing time because of injuries. So when I say they're second-year players, yet they're going to be first-year experience out there. So hopefully when we look at that, our pitching is fairly young. Got a transfer in Kristen Whitney from Wilmington. Should get some innings. Couple freshmen. Again, in Izzy, Izzy's going to bring us probably our most consistent pitcher of our freshmen as far as balls and strikes, and has decent movement. We're going to ride hard on Braylon Hattendorf and MJ Harper in our conference games. Right now, going into Saturday, since it's not conference, MJ and Braylon will throw the first 2 games down at Asbury on Saturday, and then we'll kind of wait and see, if we have to use anybody else. If not, we'll go with a different direction and hopefully get out of there with not using a lot of our pitching, and then, which will lead us into maybe a little better feeling of what we need to have for the next weekend down at the Pioneer Classic.
All right, so let's talk about these opening couple weekends. First, your first road trip to Kentucky. You got a few coming this March actually. First one going down at Asbury and at Centre. You talked about some of the pitching, what you're hoping to accomplish pitching wise. Tell us about what are you seeing out of the 2 teams you're facing And then what are you hoping to get out of
Well,
those?
we faced Asbury 3 times last year and went 2-1 against them. I felt like it, we kinda booted away a game in there. You know, on the weekend, Center, if you look at record from last year, opponents that were common to us, it's gonna be a good competition game for us. But, you know, I think that it's a weekend that we need to come away with some W's. Going in, you know, again, I think that when you look at it, our first weekend out last year, we just didn't put enough offense on the board, and we got okay pitching. So I'm hoping if we can get a combination of offense and get our pitching, it'll slide us right into the next weekend.
All right, and then the following weekend after that, you'll be at the Pioneer Classic in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, hosted by Transylvania. You got 6 games down there, and as always with the Pioneer Classic, it is a bunch of teams that are going to be NCAA tournament bound, or teams that are going to be in that fight to make the NCAA tournament. A much different feeling than what we're starting with this weekend. How are you going to be approaching that weekend?
You know, I think that was gonna be one of them ones that because we play 6 games in 3 days, we're gonna have to be very careful on our pitchers. We're probably not gonna be able to run a pitcher out there and throw them 7. We're gonna have to pitch a lot by committee down there. It'll be the only weekend that we really have that much to protect against, pitching wise. All the rest of our weekends are a 4-game series, and with 6 pitchers, I feel pretty good we can do that. But with 6 pitchers, 6 games, we gotta be really careful on how we use our pitching. And again, I think we're playing DePaul down there. I think 2 or 3 of the teams are ranked. So we'll see. Muskegon has got actually a doubleheader today. I'm kinda doing a little scouting on that after it's over. And so you look at it and think, you know, first 10 games could be a huge sign for us on which direction we're gonna go.
And then following up on that, when you get through those 10 games, what are going to be some indicators that things are going in the right direction?
Well, I think you gotta look at it, you look at the competition we're playing, and I think from what we're bringing back and the unknowns, if we're above 500, I think it's a real good indicator that we're going to be very competitive as the year goes. But again, you gotta understand, the strength of schedule we're playing in our first 10 games is as strong as maybe the first 9 games we'll
What
play.
about beyond the outcomes of the games? Like what, cause you know, as with any sports, you can have good games and lose, you can have bad games and
Yeah.
win. What are some of the things that you're hoping to see beyond the outcome?
I wanna see a set lineup, because right now, we just went through this morning at the coaches meeting, and we've only had about 4 of our 9 positions settled. And that's a good thing for us, because what it is, Aaron, is we're in a battle at about 5 positions. And it could be a toss-up, flip a coin, who's gonna win that job by Saturday. The next couple days of practice, we're gonna do some inter-squad scrimmaging down at the Colts complex. When that's all said and done, hopefully we've got it set to who's gonna play our first 4 games down in Kentucky. But right now, there's not a clear-cut winner at 5 positions, and that we gotta have that settled by the time we leave Elizabethtown.
All right, and then finally, what does your team need to do this year to be successful?
Well, play beyond their experience. You know, we're very young, but yet we did get some good experience last year. But when I say that, I could have 4 freshmen on the field when it comes down to start the season. So we got to be able to get into it, gain experience, and play a little bit older than what we're actually going to be on the field.
All right, I think I've covered the questions I wanted to. Ravens fans, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow along with any more previews and any more content we may put out on YouTube. course, follow along with your Ravens as they compete this weekend. They'll be at Asbury on Saturday at noon, and they'll be at Centre on Sunday at noon. Coach Holloway, thank you for joining us, and good luck this year.
All right, thank you.